What's up, everybody? I'm Nathan, and this is Jeskai Geist. It's my favorite deck in the modern format. It's always been my favorite deck in the modern format, and it will always be my favorite deck in the modern format. At least, I'm pretty sure it will be. I want to talk a little bit about Ancestral Visions in this deck. I'm still on the fence with regards to whether or not I want it. Now, I have discussed this with Jason Clark. He felt like Ancestral Visions was strong. And at first we were both saying no, it's not. We don't want Ancestral Visions on the deck. In the deck, the idea is the best Ancestral Visions decks are decks that are designed to buy as much time as possible to gain as much value as possible out of their Ancestral Visions, and that's a control deck. And so at first I was like, I'm not going to run the spell, but of course I got them when it was unbanned, and I wanted to try it. And what I found is a turn one Ancestral Visions is great. It's probably going to resolve on 5. You'll resolve the first one on 5. Ideally, you have a Geist in play, and you hopefully just draw into ways to remove creatures and kill them with Geist. The games where you don't have a turn 1 Visions, you're kind of playing the deck that we had before. We were running like Serum Visions or Ancestral Vision, and you just have your normal spells. Sometimes you draw an Ancestral Vision on 3, or like you suspend it on turn 3 or turn 4, and it's not great, but the deck is still halfway a control deck, and it doesn't have a completely dead long game either. So it wasn't nearly as dead and bad as I thought it would be. There were times when I top decked a Vision and I really didn't like it. But ultimately, my results were positive. However, it's really tough to say, like, am I just having favorable results right now, and is that coloring my opinion? Which is why I try to fall back to, okay, what is the deck trying to accomplish? What is, the theory side, if you will. I have this theory that I don't want Ancestral Visions. What are my results telling me? And right now, for me personally, I feel like they're inconclusive. But the reason I wanted to come back and visit this is I had a comment from a viewer on Facebook. Let's circle these. Hold on. And this was actually the first comment here. It was from Stephen Michael Higgins. Stephen, thanks for commenting and making some suggestions. So his advice was to do this: remove the Serum Visions, remove the Angel, add the other Visions, and these other burn spells. My comment was that Ancestral Flood is real. We're not a control deck, and he was basically saying, hey, if you're not going to run 4, then there's no point. I don't know that he's right, but I don't know that he's wrong either. I mean, obviously, if you have 4 Ancestral Visions, you're going to maximize your potential to have it on 1. But you're also going to draw more of them later into the game when you may not necessarily want them. And I want to give his suggestions a try. But I do want to talk about Vision as just Ancestral Vision in general. But the suggestions that he made are here. This deck was the way that we had it. I've been playing it. This is the way that he has it. That these are the changes he thought that I should make. What I like about it is that it has 4 Helix and 2 Electrolyze. It has all the Helix and all the Electrolyzes. I really like these spells. I'm not as big of a fan of losing the Restoration Angel. I feel like when I'm playing this deck, the non-control version, I would prefer to have 3, maybe 4 Restoration Angels, because I want ways to kill my opponent. One of the things I've tried to do when playing the Geist deck is I want every spell that costs 4 or more to interact positively with Geist. And I've run the 4 Geist for Angel version, and I was really quite pleased with it, because you eventually resolve a Geist, and for every Angel in your hand, that's just a free attack. You attack with Geist, bounce it with Restoration Angel the following turn, you attack for 7 in the air, save it with Restoration Angel the following turn after that, you're attacking for 10 in the air. You can win a game against a fair deck just like that. But I do want to give this a shot. So I think today I'm going to play this list and maybe for a couple more games, because I really want to try to answer this question: do we want visions? I think an ideal Ancestral Vision deck is something more like this. This is just a control list that I'm playing in a league. I don't remember if the sideboard's the same. One of the things you'll notice is a lack of mana leak. The reason is you're trying to buy as much time as possible to get further and further ahead with your Ancestral Vision. That's a game plan that contradicts mana leak. I actually have always thought that the Geist decks are a better mana leak deck because they're actually trying to close the game down before mana leak is dead. So I'm opting to play Logic Knot. I'm also relatively sure that if you're going to play a control deck, you need to have 3, but preferably 4 cryptic commands. And that's because once you've gotten ahead, you made the game go long, you need a way to maintain control over the game, and Cryptic Command is the best spell to do that. Remand's cantrip, Logic Knots are still live, but Cryptic Command allows you to, counter a spell and bounce a snap back to your hand, counter a spell, bounce a Goblin Dark Dweller back to your hand, and just keep the cards coming, and it helps you have hard answers. You don't want to draw into fluff with Ancestral Visions. You don't want to draw into things like mana leaks. You don't want to draw into things that are do-nothings, basically. Cryptic Command is never a do-nothing. It's always a hard answer. So you want to draw into things like that do stuff. If you're going to draw a bunch of extra cards, you can draw a bunch of extra burn spells to help you kill your opponent. But you don't want to draw into a bunch of mana leaks that don't do anything. I would even consider cutting the spell snares because they're so situational, but having 3 spell snares helps us survive the early game. But this is definitely a deck that is perfectly set up to try to take advantage of Ancestral Visions. The Geist deck is more of like a deck that can benefit from Ancestral Visions, but as the game goes longer, you can't say, okay, I'm going to make the game go longer and maintain control over the game. You need to draw into more ways to close the game down. That's why I would prefer to have more Restoration Angels. You do have a lot of burn, but I feel like once you resolve a Geist, you need to try to end the game quickly. So, if possible. So that is also, kind of in contradiction to Ancestral Visions. Like I said, I don't have a consensus on this card yet. But one of the other lists I want to look at is this one. And I've kind of decided, it is very meta-dependent, the spells you select. But I think this list, if I wasn't going to run Ancestral Vision, this is the list that I would run. I have been off and I have been on Cryptic Command many different times. I've run up to 2. And again, this is meta-dependent, but I like having 1 Cryptic Command in the deck. I've won 3 games against Lantern Control in tournaments on Magic Online, where my only out was to bounce an Ensnaring Bridge with Cryptic Command, and I did. It is nice to have outs to things. It is nice to be able to just... Cryptic Command does a lot, and we are not a Cryptic Command deck, but I feel like there's many opportunities where having 1 Cryptic Command can basically win the game for you. And the other thing to point out is, as I said before, I would like it if every spell that costs more than 3 interacted favorably with Geist of St. Traft, and Cryptic Command does, because you can tap a team and bounce a permanent or whatever it is and attack with Geist. I don't think it's quite as good as Restoration Angel, because Restoration Angel just allows you to attack with Geist, saves Geist, but then further develops your board and allows you to attack for even more the following turn. So I would also be okay if Cryptic was a 4th Restoration Angel, but I like having access to 1 Cryptic Command in the list. I think I want to run 4 Serum Visions. This Spell Snare could be another 2-mana counter, but the one other card that I'm still kind of evaluating is Izzet Charm. It's a bad like I've already said this before, but one reason I like it is because I really like the 2-mana leak, 2-remand split. So maybe this should be 2 remands and a leak. I'm not sure yet, but I like having the hard answers. But my point is, we sort of have 4 counters here. We sort of have 4 removal spell, 4 2-mana removal spells here. So I sort of feel like it fills both those gaps while not probably being quite as good as Mana Leak or it's not as good as Lightning Helix. It gives our deck in this spot a few more options. I really like to Electrolyze. I think, we're not... Electrolyze is kind of a control deck card, so we don't want too many of them. But I think Electrolyze... I think the deck is better when it has 2 Electrolyze in it. And then in this version, because Spell Snare is just not... It's a narrow answer. I mean, it has a lot of targets, but as I've said before in other videos, when it's great, it's great. When it's bad, it's awful. I'm only going to run 1. If I could just run anything right now, I would probably go for something like this. Like, assuming that... This is going to sound funny, but pretending for a moment that this was 60 cards and not 62, I think I'd be really happy. I'd be really thrilled to run this. I have my 2 Mana Leaks, my 2 Remands. I have my full complement of burn spells, my 2 Electrolyzes. I have my 1-off Cryptic, all my card selection, my Snare and my Pierce. But we just don't have... we just don't have as the room, and I think it's probably incorrect to run 22 lands. Normally this deck runs 24, 25. I've already trimmed 1. You might be able to get away with 23, but I don't... I don't think we should do that. So, the reason I'm cutting the Remand is I think Mana Leak's good in this deck because we're trying to be proactive. I think sometimes you just need to answer the really bad thing, whatever it is, and Remand just allows them to replay it. But I wish I had a 4th counter here. So, because I think our burn matchup is still pretty reasonable... oops. That's not what I'm trying to do. Because I think our burn matchup is still pretty reasonable, Geist is really good there. I'm willing to shave 1 Helix for this Izzet Charm. Like I said, it kind of fills the 4th counter magic and semi-replaces the 4th Helix when it comes to creature removal. And then if I had to choose between Cryptic Command, Spell Snare, or Spell Pierce, I think the most narrow counterspell of all of these is actually probably Pierce. You can get people with Pierce, but it gets dead really quickly. So... Again, if I'm not going to run Visions, I'm going to run this list. If I determine that the 4 Visions is really, really good, then I may even consider just replacing these with Ancestral Vision and trying that out. But for now, I think I'm going to go ahead and give Stephen Michael Higgins' suggestions a try. And try to determine once and for all, do we want Vision or not? I think actually I'm going to make a decision here. I think if I'm going to run 4 Visions, I don't want too many Mana Leaks and Spell Pierce type effects, or really Izzet Charms. So I'm kind of tempted to cut this for a Cryptic Command like I did in the other list. Oh well, yeah, I'm gonna try that. See how that goes. Okay, guys. I know that was a long intro, but when you've invested as much time as I have in the deck, you just sort of have a lot of thoughts about it, I guess. Yep. I'm just thinking in my head, do I really want Vision? Not. It's still... I guess time will tell. Alright, see you guys in a second for some games. Okay, so we have a game here. I think this is a mulligan. Well, if we don't draw white mana, it's really awkward. Then again, we get a draw step, we have a bolt, we have a remand. I guess we can keep. Maybe Jund? Not the draw we're looking for. can make, but we do get to, like I said, we get to see a couple of cards. Is this like 8 rec? Huh. Well, he gets to pick what he wants. I wouldn't be surprised if he takes the remand. Hissing Quagmire, what does that mean? Okay, so yeah, we're not going to fetch. Oof. Well, I'm not a big fan of using the draw 2, discard 2 of Visit Charm, but at this point, it might be worth it. Maybe this is like green-black rock. Geist Flood. No, it's Abzan, perhaps? Lingering Souls? Yup. Okay, well, let's try to hit a land here. Alright, so let's see, what are our choices? I do not think Geist is great. We can't cast Visit Charm. I'm not looking forward to Helixing. I guess what we can do is just start running these Geist of St. Traphs into the Lingering Souls tokens and then playing other ones. Depends what his follow-up play is. Liliana here would just be pretty crushing. Siege Rhino wouldn't be great either. Hopefully he's just going to flashback Lingering Souls. We'll smash Geist into them, play another Geist. Yeah, that's terrible. I guess we can play another one. If we draw a land, we can actually play one and bolt Lily. That would be asking too much. Alright, I'm going to play another Geist. Probably just discard this Is-It Charm. Tarmogoyf, Lingering Souls is my guess. Ooze. Okay, let's see here. So we have answers to both of these, and we're going to kill Lily. Doesn't seem like the worst. Let's see. Basically, we have Bolt, Path, keep up Ghost Quarter, Bolt, Path. Then he has Man Lands. We attack, and he takes 4. So he's not another way to do this. Alternatively, we can Helix. Is there any? There's no. Yeah, there's one creature in the graveyard. Maybe we don't care about. No, I guess we have to kill Ooze if we're gonna attack. Alright, we're just gonna do this. See, I'm just thinking if I sack with Sacred, if then I just gain a net of 1, but I get to use more of my mana. I think I prefer to do that. Send the angel at him. This is a matchup where Ancestral Visions should help if we draw it. Probably Flashback Lingering Souls. Another Ooze, okay. How many creatures? There's a Geist and a Scooze. My guess is he just eats them now. Okay, so I think I like going, let me think here, because one option is we go Geist of St. Traft, attack, Bolt the Scavenging Ooze, play another Geist, but then we have to spend all of our mana. If we go Snap Path, then we get to potentially save the burn to his face. And we get to keep up Ghost Quarter for a mainland. And he goes to 9. We also have the potential to snap Remand for the other Lingering Souls. Let's see. If we let him untap, he's definitely going to attack with the Spirits down to 10. If we also let him attack with the Scooze, then we'd go to 8. He tries to Flashback Lingering Souls. We go Snap Remand. Then we should be able to 8 him down to 7. He untaps. And then we're dead. So yeah, I think we just got to go like Snap, Path, the Ooze, and attack again. While holding up this Ghost Quarter. Opponent is a Geist attack and a Bolt from Death, but this is one of those situations where, like, if we drew a Cryptic command, we could probably just win the game, assuming we had the mana to cast it. Opponent has one card. I'm going to guess it's something like an Abrupt Decay. That's interesting. Okay, so let's just attack here and see how this plays out. Here comes the Abrupt Decay for the Snapcaster Mage. Or is he Is he animating? He is, alright. So I think we shoot that. Let's see how he chooses to block here. I'm okay with that. Opponent is Thoughtseize. So that's, I think that's probably it. So that's going to put him to 5, and we're about to 6 him here. Okay. So against Abzan, I want Batterskull, Goblin Dark Dwellers, Engineered Explosives. Wrath of God is reasonable. We have to consider Wear Tear because of Choke. Pithing Needle is good for manlands, and also Liliana. So let's see, that's 6 cards that we can potentially bring in. Anger is I think I'd just rather have a Staticaster. And Counterflux is like a really good hard counter at any stage of the game. Spell Snare is okay. Leak, I want to keep the Remands. Click is not good against Lingering Souls. Is It Charm is kind of also and these are not ideal. Could even cut that many of them. Is there anything else we'd really like to bring in? The Geists aren't great. These answer Lingering Souls, but not too much else. We already have one sweeper. I think I like this. Alright. Come on, turn 1 Ancestral Vision. Should help us a lot in this game. Arrgh. Let's see. I think we keep this. It has an answer for Lingering Souls. It has a counterspell that can counter anything in his deck except for Thrun, if he brings it in. I like no turn 1 discard. Just play out a fetch land. Oh no, I hope I didn't keep the choke hand of just lands choke. Hopes to get there that way. So if this is a Liliana, then we flash and Snapcaster Mage, attack it, and Helix it. Could also just be Lingering Souls. assuming this is going to get an Overgrown Tomb. What do we discard? Gross! Gross, 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 gross. Okay, well that happens. We have card draw spells too somewhere. Oh no, why is this happening again? Ugh. Geist Flood, but now we don't have lands. Tarmogoyf? Alright. If this is like double Goyf... Oh, that's frustrating. Okay, so... We're gonna risk our Abrupt Decay. But we're not... Like, we have other answers to Goyf. There's a land. So... If he has an Abrupt Decay, this is sad. But it's not like we don't have an answer and path to it. To them. So I'll just F6 and hope it doesn't get decayed. Got decayed. He actually just could have, if he was going to decay it, he should have just done it before damage. He didn't plus. It's interesting. Alright, what's our draw step here? Batterskull. So, I think we just have to shoot Lily. I'm assuming that was a mistake. And then we're going to path one of these Goyfs and hope that we can path another one. Have 6 here. It's another Lily. If it's a Liliana, I think we need to discard the Geist. Hard to say. I don't really want to discard the Batterskull. That's pretty annoying. Well, we're definitely snap pathing. I think Goyf is a 6/7. Yeah, I guess we just path a Goyf. I don't know what his follow-up is going to be, but I'm going to take 4. And I'm going to play Geist. Lingering Souls. Okay, no, just more card draw. Alright, so... if we can draw a land... we have lethal on board. Well, no, because he's going to gain at least... he's going to gain 1, and he drew a bunch of cards, so he may kill the Snapcaster Mage and gain 2. Yeah, that's annoying. This game's not going our way. Getting screwed on lands helped not at all. So opponent's basically at 10. So an untapped land. Well, we're going to have to block something. Kind of both the same. I guess I can block here, make him use the ooze at the very least. Alright, well, that buys us 1 turn. I don't mind. I would like to bounce the Tasigur, but he can easily replay it at this point. So we have to return this and tap the creatures, unfortunately. Wrath would be a nice card to draw, but we'll just die to the Wildwoods. So we need to go like draw land and Wrath, which obviously isn't going to happen. Well, we can't even fetch, so... boom. Okay, game 3. I don't think we change anything. Leak could be a little bit better on the play, but I don't think it's great. Wear Tear. What would I bring in besides a Wear Tear? I'm on the play, so the leak gets a little better. I'll submit like this. Just need to try and not get mana screwed. Okay. Yes, I'll play first. Does this deck have Ancestral Visions in it? I haven't seen one. Did it? Yeah, it does. Okay. Path Snap. We need to draw exceedingly well. This land's just too... if this hand is too land heavy. This is better, I guess, but we'll keep that on top. I think it's questionable that we actually get to keep this Wrath of God in our hand. Probably just gets... he's going to A, see it with Inquisition and take the Bolt, or see it with a Thoughtseize and take it with Thoughtseize. So now he's not going to play into it. I would like this to get a Sacred Foundry if he does bring in Choke. But I'm going to need the double white. Well, that Sacred Foundry does it, but I'm just going to assume he's not. I'm just going to go with the get all of my blue online plan. Electrolyze. I want to cast that because I need to find spells or kill his. I need to find spells and or kill his. Lingering Souls if you used to play them. I guess he was not going to play. He's not going to play anything into this. I did not expect him to play that Goyf. He knows I have the Wrath of God. Obviously it resolves. Electrolyze here. I may just want to save it for Lingering Souls at this point, since now I'm going to get this. I think I do. He may just... What could he play? He could very easily here just choke us out of the game. We go Wrath, he goes Choke, we lose the game. I'm going to save the Electrolyze and hope that that doesn't happen. If it does, though, then we're just dead. That's interesting. But I think the Wrath here is... Well, gosh, you know... He can't play Thrun yet. We're probably... I'm like worried about everything. We Wrath... He chokes, we Wrath, he plays Thrun. At some point we can snap Wrath, I guess, to deal with the Thrun. Is it his turn to be mana screwed? Maybe this is just an Inquisitor or a Thoughtseize? Okay, Tasigur. Well, luckily we have an answer for that. I'm going to pass. Do I dare take 4? I can Path. I can also hold up Cryptic Command. I think I will take 4. Restoration Angel or Path to Exile. If I draw a land, then I think I'm just going to play this guy. Our opponent obviously is missing lands, so another interesting line is just to bounce Tasigur. And then he can't even replay it. Inquisition. Well, now I think I will go ahead and path it. Let's see, I can also just bounce it. Bounce, draw. I could actually counter bounce. I like that better. Alright, well, it's the only one in my deck. So, no problem. Although you does get to look at the hand. See what we brought in. So Cryptic Command just traded with a Surgical... so it was still a 2-for-1. We got rid of Surgical Extraction, and for right now, he has a spell that he can't cast. Oh no, does he have a path? Does not seem to yet. Okay, so we can bolt him down to 6. Sure, I don't even think we care about the Goyf right now. Alright, I'm actually just going to go ahead and electrolyze him. And then that should be game. It's a lot harder to win when you get stuck on lands. Alright, well, our evaluation project of Ancestral Visions is not producing any valuable data because Ancestral Vision, because we're not drawing it. Well, no matter what list I end up running, I think I'm just going to run a 1-off Cryptic Command. I think that Cryptic Command is just too sweet not to have access to it in the list. Well, we will continue this project tomorrow, where we try to find out if I actually won Ancestral Vision or not. I did play this last night through some games though, and I think I won 3 of the 3 games I played. It was nice that I kept thinking in my head like, all right, I'm gonna draw. This would be Ancestral Vision, and I will say that I felt happier more times to just have the Serum Visions later in the game and just cast it right away. So maybe we'll just end up going back to Serum Visions. I don't know. Alright guys, as always, thank you for watching. If you like the modern content I'm producing, please like the video, but above all else, subscribe. I am trying to... I know some of you guys have asked for blue-white Thopter content. I have the deck. I have the Tron well, this is the non-Tron version. This is the Tron version. And I'm just trying to find some time with Jason Clark. We're going to do Geist of St. Traft versus Thopters. So look forward to that. Until then, draw well and smash face. See you guys soon.